Welcome to Cox Local Edition on CNN Headline News. I'm Catherine Falk with Cox Communications. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so pleased to have our Congressman Gerry Connolly join us today. Thank you for being here.
Great to be back with you, Catherine.
So, since you left as chairman of the Board of Supervisors, serving there for years in Fairfax County, you took this new role in Congress, and you're in the second half of your first term and have been freshman class president. How exciting a job has this been for you?
It's been a great opportunity, and in a very troubled time in terms of our economy. So it's a great privilege to be able to be on Capitol Hill and try to make things better in a very difficult time.
And I know you're serving on some very key committees that are helping our constituents. Tell us about those committees.
I serve on the Budget Committee, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is very important both to federal contractors and federal employees.
Absolutely. I know one of the biggest issues that's been out there in Congress has been health care reform, and our constituents have been hearing a lot about it. Tell us what's happening on health care reform right now and the leadership role you've taken on that.
Well, I led the effort to try to change the way health care reform was financed because I felt it had too much of a negative impact clearly on our constituents, and I was gratified to be successful in that effort. I led the freshman class in opposing the way the surcharge fee was structured. I think health care reform in general, however, which passed the House of Representatives and now awaits action in the Senate, is going to be very positive for this district and for our senior citizens and small businesses especially.
And your work on the income surcharge, and that was really important because small business owners and families with dual incomes were going to be penalized.
That's
correct?
right. Well, there would have been a surcharge on people over individuals who made $280,000 a year and families that made $350,000 or more a year. That really would have hit our district, and it would have, as you suggest, hurt a lot of small businesses. The new thresholds are $500,000 for an individual and $1 million for a family. And that means that 99% of all small businesses will be unaffected, and only 0.3% of all Americans will be affected. So that's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. So what happens next on health care reform?
Well, now that the House has passed its bill, of course, we await action by the Senate. The Senate works in its own way and at a much slower pace, but I'm hopeful later this year the Senate will take action. The two bills then have to be conferenced and reconciled, and then we'll have a final piece of legislation, I hope, to the President's desk either late this year or early next.
Good. I know on a separate but related to health care issue, you've been working on behalf of federal retirees. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's something called long-term care. There was an insurance policy that a number of federal employees, including many people in our district, bought into 7 years ago. And they were promised that if they bought the high-end version, that there'd be no premium increases. Well, they're actually now faced with a 25% increase this year. I think that's wrong. I've called for hearings to find out what went wrong and why were federal employees promised something that, in fact, is not being delivered. And so I think it's really important moving forward that we not engage in misleading federal employees when we offer a product such as long-term care insurance.
Great. I know that you love reaching out to your constituents. You have a vibrant website, which is connolly.house.gov. You can sign up for a newsletter there.
That's right.
And share your issues. And I know that you love to have constituent meetings. Tell us about those.
Well, we've had a lot of town meetings, and I certainly had a lot of outreach in talking to various and sundry groups, chambers of commerce and rotaries, retirement communities throughout the district. But we also have done 5 telephone town hall meetings. The last one had 15,000 people who picked up the phone and participated. So it's a great way to reach constituents and for people to have some input.
Great, and I know you were even bagging groceries recently for Komen for the Cure, so you're out in the community trying to reach citizens. Yeah,
I went to Safeway and bagged groceries for a few hours, all for a good cause to raise money for breast cancer.
Great. Congressman Gerry Connolly, thanks so much for being here, and we wish you luck.
Thank you, Catherine.
And thank you for joining us on Cox Local Edition on CNN Headline News. Have a great day.